The first thing Elias noticed when he woke up was the cold. It wasn't the normal winter chill that crept through cracked windows or thin blankets. This cold felt alive, deliberate, as if it had been waiting for him to open his eyes. His breath came out in pale clouds, even though he was indoors. The ceiling above him was unfamiliar. Old wooden planks stained dark with age, spiderwebs clinging to the corners like torn curtains. He tried to sit up, but pain flared through his skull. Memories drifted just out of reach, like shadows slipping away from light. The last thing he clearly remembered was driving. Night. Snow. A road that seemed to stretch endlessly through a forest that swallowed sound. "Hello." His voice cracked, swallowed by the silence. The room answered with nothing but the slow, wet creak of wood settling. Elias swung his legs off the bed. The floorboards were icy under his bare feet, so cold it felt like they burned. He stood unsteadily, taking in his surroundings. The room was small, barely furnished. A narrow bed, a wooden chair in the corner, a single window, its glass frosted from the inside, as if the cold itself was trapped within the room. He walked to the window and wiped a clear patch with his sleeve. Outside, a forest stretched in every direction, trees packed so tightly together that even moonlight struggled to penetrate. Snow fell in lazy spirals, soundless and thick, blanketing everything in white. There was no road, no sign of another building, no hint of life. A sudden knock made him jump. 3 slow knocks echoed from somewhere beyond the room. Not from the window, not from the walls, from the door behind him. Elias turned, heart hammering. He hadn't noticed a door before, but there it was now, tall, dark, and warped, like it had been carved from a single dying tree. Another knock, closer somehow. "Who is it?" he asked, though every instinct screamed at him not to open it. No answer came, but the handle began to turn on its own, groaning in protest. The door creaked open just enough to reveal a narrow hallway beyond, lit by flickering yellow lamps. Cold air poured in, carrying with it the smell of damp earth and something older, something rotten. A figure stood in the hallway. At first, Elias thought it was a man wrapped in a heavy coat. But as the figure stepped forward into the light, the illusion shattered. Its body was wrong, too tall, too thin. The coat hung off it like a shed skin, and beneath it, Elias saw flesh that looked gray and brittle, stretched tight over bone. Its face was almost human, but the eyes were hollow pits filled with darkness that seemed to move. "You're awake," the thing said, its voice layered, as if several mouths spoke at once. Elias stumbled backward until his legs hit the bed. "Where am I?" The creature smiled, and its mouth opened far wider than it should have. "Home. For now." Before Elias could react, the door slammed shut on its own, leaving him alone in the room once more. His breath came in ragged gasps. He rushed to the door and yanked at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. It felt frozen in place, as if welded shut by ice. Panic clawed at his chest. He searched the room for anything that could help. His phone was gone, his wallet, even his shoes. The only thing that didn't feel entirely out of place was a small object lying on the chair, a rusted key. The moment his fingers closed around it, a sharp pain shot through his hand. He dropped the key, staring in horror as thin red lines appeared across his palm, forming symbols he didn't recognize. They burned for a few seconds, then faded, leaving his skin unbroken. The key lay still, innocent once more. A whisper drifted through the room, not from any single direction, but from everywhere at once. "Not yet." The lights flickered, then went out entirely. Darkness swallowed the room, thick and suffocating. Elias felt something brush against his ankle, cold, wet fingers that wrapped around his leg. He screamed and kicked, breaking free. The lights snapped back on, and the room was empty again. No sign of whatever had touched him. Only the key, still resting on the floor, waiting. Time lost meaning after that. The lamps dimmed and brightened without pattern. Hunger gnawed at Elias, but no food appeared. Sleep came only in short, terror-filled bursts, each dream worse than the last. He saw the forest burning. He saw himself walking through snow, following footprints that ended abruptly at a deep, black hole in the ground. He saw the hollow-eyed creature standing over him, whispering his name with something like affection. When he woke from one such dream, the door was open. The hallway beyond seemed longer than before, stretching far into darkness. The lamps flickered, casting warped shadows that twisted and writhed along the walls. Elias knew, with a certainty that made his stomach churn, that staying in the room meant death. Or something worse. He picked up the key. This time, it didn't hurt him. The hallway smelled stronger now, mold, blood, and the sharp tang of cold metal. As Elias walked, he noticed doors lining the walls. Some were cracked open, revealing glimpses of rooms similar to his own. Others were nailed shut, the wood split and stained dark around the nails. From behind one door, he heard crying. A woman's voice, soft and desperate. "Please, let me out." Elias stopped. His hand hovered over the handle. "Hello." The crying turned to laughter instantly. High, shrill, and wrong. Something slammed against the door from the inside, hard enough to make the wood shudder. Elias backed away and continued down the hallway, heart racing. At the end of the corridor, a staircase spiraled downward. Cold air rushed up from below, carrying whispers that brushed against his mind. Names, memories, regrets that weren't his. He descended. The staircase opened into a vast underground chamber. The ceiling disappeared into darkness, and the floor was covered in snow, despite being deep underground. In the center stood a massive tree, its bark black and cracked, its branches bare and twisted like skeletal arms. From its limbs hung dozens of shapes. People. Their bodies were frozen mid-sway, eyes open, mouths stretched in silent screams. Roots pierced their flesh, holding them in place, drinking them dry. Elias staggered back, while rising in his throat. Beautiful, isn't it? The hollow-eyed creature emerged from behind the tree, moving with unnatural grace. They keep it alive, and it keeps us alive. What is this place? Elias demanded, though his voice trembled. A refuge, the creature replied. A crossing. A farm. Understanding hit Elias like a blow. You feed on people. The creature tilted its head. We preserve them. Use them. You should be honored. The ground trembled. The bodies on the tree began to twitch. You don't belong here, Elias said. I'm leaving. The creature laughed, and the sound echoed through the chamber, bouncing off unseen walls. You already tried. Images flooded Elias's mind. The road. The snowstorm. His car skidding. The impact. Darkness. You died. The creature continued softly. Your body did, anyway. But you were strong. You didn't fade like the others. We brought you here. The tree groaned, its roots shifting beneath the snow. You can't leave, the creature said. But you can choose. The key in Elias's hand grew warm. He looked down at it, then back at the tree, at the bodies hanging like ornaments. What choice? He asked. Join us, the creature said. Become a keeper, or feed the tree. Something moved beneath the snow at Elias's feet. Hands pushed up through the white, grasping at his ankles, his legs. Faces emerged, people he didn't know, their expressions frozen in terror and pleading. No, Elias whispered. He ran. The chamber seemed to stretch endlessly as he sprinted, the tree's roots bursting through the ground, chasing him. The creature's laughter followed, echoing, multiplying. Elias saw a door ahead, standing alone in the darkness, rimed with frost. He slammed into it, fumbling with the key. The hands grabbed him, pulling him back. Fingers dug into his skin, burning with cold. He forced the key into the lock and turned. Light exploded outward. Elias fell forward, gasping, his body slamming onto hard asphalt. The smell of snow and pine filled his lungs. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone shouted. He lay there, staring up at the night sky, snowflakes drifting down onto his face. You're okay, a voice said. You're safe now. Hands lifted him gently. Paramedics. Flashing lights. A wrecked car lay nearby, crushed against a tree. Elias laughed weakly, tears freezing on his cheeks. It was over. It had all been a hallucination, a dying dream. As they loaded him into the ambulance, Elias felt something hard in his pocket. His heart skipped. When no one was looking, he pulled it out. A rusted key lay in his palm, warm to the touch. From somewhere deep in the forest, a tree creaked, and something laughed, soft and patient, already waiting for him to fall asleep again.